Hey Melanie, came across your question here and I thought I'd do a quick video to show you one way to do it, one way to fix this. But your question is, does anyone know how to add a full width banner text section to all the individual blog post pages using Brine? The banner would be the same from post to post, mockups attached. So it looks like this is your normal one, no image in there. This is your new one with, you want to put just, this looks like just a basic image back there. So I'm going to assume this is an image as we build this out. I have created just your basic Brine. I just started, this is your Brine template full of just the template filler stuff. First, I want to sort of add this little border around here because that might make a difference here. So I'm going to grab this code. So, well, let me just start from the basics here. What I did is Command-Option-I on a Mac. I'm using Chrome. Pulls up this little sidebar. This is where you can look at all the HTML on a page. Grab this selector icon here. Selected that, and it looks like you're changing your site. You're giving these properties to your site. So I'm going to copy that. Come over here into Design, Custom CSS, paste it in. There we go. So now we got a little border. It's sort of looking a little bit more like your site. Let's jump into one of these blog posts. So we've got some content in there. We want to add an image right here. The first thing we're going to need to do, let's just add some HTML on here to see how that would look. Because, you know, I'm sure you know this. If you've been using Squarespace for a while, you got this page code header injection thing, page header code injection. So let's jump into that. Let's just add a P element and see, say it says hi there. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so we know how to add an HTML element above all the content. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to add the HTML content in the header, and then we're going to use jQuery to reposition it on your page. Okay, so we're going to have this code here, and then we're going to use some jQuery that says, hey, let's actually move this. You said you want it below the header section. So that's, if we use our selector again, we can grab the header. We're going to want it below this header. So above this site inner, this div class site inner, below this header class header. So what we need to do is first add the image into our CSS. So let's go into Design, Custom CSS. I mocked up a little image of my puppos. So I'm going to hit Add Image, good puppos, because that's what they are. They're good boys and girls. I'm going to have this load. And then I'm just going to click into my CSS and just click on the image. And here, this is the URL. If you put this inside an image tag, it will pull up the image that I want. So I'm going to copy it, just Command-C, delete it from in the CSS because it's not formatted. And then we're going to come back to our blog and then add it into the page header code injection. So obviously we don't want that, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to add an image tag, and then the source equals, I'm going to paste in that HTML or the link here that I used in the custom CSS. Then we're just going to close out this image tag. So this is the syntax if you don't know it, just the img space and then src for source equals and in quotation marks, whatever link you want to use. So let's hit save there and see what happens. Woo! Okay, there he is. This one's Hippie, this one's Vivi, Hippie and Vivi. But obviously this looks terrible. So now that we've added the elements in HTML, elements are HTML, we need to, let's jump into the CSS and change that around. So this is an image, but actually we don't want this to apply to all images. So I'm going to go back. We need to give this image a class. So it only applies to these selected images. So let's just say class equals, we'll do blog-hero-image. How about that? Space, so class is blog hero image. I'm going to just copy this, hit save, Nothing obviously changes here because we haven't applied any CSS styles to it. Gonna go over here, custom, not image. I'm just gonna do it to everything blog hero image. Let's give it a display block. That'll get us started to what we need to do because all of these things on our website are blocks. And then let's give it a width of 100%, and that's just going to take the width of the page. So there we go. That's looking good. Height, just going to put that in auto. That's not going to change anything. We can play around with that a little bit later. You know, if you changed it to like 300 pixels, 200 pixels, it'll flatten it, and we can play around with some other things to make that keep the aspect ratio the same. But right now we'll just keep height at auto. So now we have our image. I'm gonna hit save here. You know, I have my testing Brine site over here. I'm gonna go back to home. Hit the blog. Boom. Okay, so now we're starting to get there. We have this image that pops up at the top of the blog. It should pop up, yeah, at the top of each of our blog pages too. So now we want to move this image in between our header here and the body of the page. So this is where jQuery is going to come in. Okay, jQuery, if you haven't used it before, there's a lot that goes on to it. I would recommend, there's a course on CSS tricks. There's a free little mini series type course, good intro to jQuery. If you go over here to guides, scroll down, it's somewhere on here, jQuery. This is good, great little course. This is how I started to learn jQuery. It's super helpful. Bunch of videos, just goes through everything on this website. If you haven't used this website before, it's super great too. The essentials that you need to know for it though, what jQuery does is it's a JavaScript type language, and it will allow you to, among other things, move elements around on your page. So it will allow you to move this image below here. But in order to do that, jQuery isn't installed on any Squarespace site. Installing code is very easy, but you just have to know if you just type in jQuery, it's not going to work because Squarespace doesn't know what it means. So we have to use what's called the jQuery CDN. So I just type jQuery CDN into Google. And once you do it once on your website, you're done. You don't need to do it again. But just click over here. This will bring you, if you hit the first element on Google, first page on Google, just click uncompressed. It'll pop this up. And just paste this code within the script tags into your advanced code injection right here. Going to put it into the header. So this is just going to happen on every page. If you're super worried about page load speeds, this might slow it down like 0.0001%. So it's not super important. That's why I put it up here. But you could just put it on the pages that you will be running jQuery. But I'm going to put it in everything because I'm not super worried about page load speed right now. So now that it's in the header, I know it's going to work. I know any jQuery that I use is going to work, should I say. So now that that code is in, now we have to actually type jQuery into it. Much like if you don't have CSS code, no CSS is going to work. We have to use the jQuery code. So I'm going to jump into here. Now, instead of just going over what all the code is, it's a different language, a lot of nuances to it. I've created it already, so I'm just going to move over here. I'm going to paste it in here and hit save. Boom. And there it is. Now it's loaded exactly where we need to be. And that's pretty much it. This is going to load on every single page. Obviously, on this basic, the template of Brine, it's going to show up on here because this is a blog page. I noticed your blog is the right way to really do it, which is an index. You're using an index, so it shouldn't show up there. But if you click on any one of these individual blogs, that picture is going to show up on every single blog page. So there we go. If you are interested in changing this picture, I'll go over a couple things. If you want to let's quickly go over the code here. So what this is saying is saying, first, run this function. This is a jQuery function. Run this function when the page loads. Okay, and this is going if the blog hero image, so this is our class, this dot length means basically is present. If there is a value to it, then run this code. Grab this blog hero element and insert it after the header top. And again, if you really want to jump into jQuery, you'll learn this a lot better than what I'm teaching right now. But here you go. Here's your header top. So it's just inserting that element after, insert after, right? This header top part. Ta-da, header top. So that's why it's putting it in right there. And it's only going to do it, obviously, when we're in the blog, because we've only put it in the blog code stuff. So a couple other fun little tweaks that you might want to do. One, let's say we want to change the size of this image. You can go, say we only want this 300 pixels high. We can add an object fit property on that and give it cover, give it a value of cover. Now it's going to be right in the middle. It's going to cut it right in the middle, and it's always only going to be 300 pixels high. No matter what, it's going to stay at 300 pixels. You can change the position of it if you wanted to do that by object position. You can say 0. We'll say 100%. So 100%, 0 means your left to right positioning, your width positioning. That's your first number here. Your second number here is your up-down positioning, your height positioning. I'm saying 100%, so it's going to go all the way to the bottom of the picture. If I said 0%, it would start at the top of the picture. 0, 0 is top left. This is left. This is top. And this is right, but it's not going to change because it's already at 100%. And this is bottom. So this is starting at the bottom right of the picture. It's going to show it. So that's how you can move it around. Make sure you have object fit as cover so it doesn't move. And then the other thing, if you don't want it on this blog page, you can just find whatever the, I actually don't want this. I want to keep this on auto here. That just looks better. I don't want this to show up on my blog page, so I'm going to figure out what the class is or the ID of this page is. Let's just scroll to the top. Got our collection ID right there. Exit out. And just give it a display none. And that should, or give the blog hero image a value of display none. And that'll do it for you. And we'll put it on there, but it'll put it over here. Lastly, let's say you want a different image. Let's say you want a different image on each one of these elements, on each one of the pages. Let's say we want a different header image on each one of my blog posts. Right? Let's jump into here. Jump into our, so we don't want to post this on every single page. Now remember, so this code is going to be in the header of every single post on our blog. This code is going to be in the header of every single post, and it's saying, if this blog hero image is present, then insert the blog hero image after the header top. Okay, so I'm going to cut out this image, and because it's not present, it's not going to show on any of these pages. But since that code is just running, we can really put that image anywhere on the page, and it will move it to where we want it to be. So I'm just going to add it right here. And a code block. Just add it right there in a code block, and it will move it to where I want it to be, which is after this header up here. I'm going to just hit save. And it's not going to do it on here because the page is already loaded. But if I jump over to blog, this is the actual page, you'll see, boom, there it is. We got my header image on this blog page, but it's not going to be on this blog page. So that's a way to put it on just one blog page if you want to do that. Okay, hope that helps. I have a newsletter. If you want to learn more of this stuff, you can sign up below. It's at the bottom of my website here. You can just sign up there. Otherwise, let me know if you have any other questions. Hope this helps. Bye.